Today's lesson in algebra, we are going to look at section 17.3, which is subtracting polynomial expressions. So we need to know how to subtract polynomials. Earlier this week, you looked at adding them. So again, we can do two different formats. We can do a vertical format where we rewrite the subtraction as addition of the opposite. And we can look at a horizontal format where we are grouping things together and combining like terms. So our first example, and the key to this, we are going to find these both horizontally and vertically together. I'm going to give you two examples of each. And first, we talked about this in the Zoom meeting, is you need to distribute this negative. We are essentially going to change the signs on all of these. We are going to multiply each one by that -1 that's out in front. So nothing changes with the 5x plus 2. Distributing that negative times a negative makes it plus 2x squared. Negative plus a negative times a negative 3x makes it plus 3x, and a negative times 4 makes it minus 4. All right, now we have these two polynomials. We can add them vertically or we can add them horizontally. This one we're going to add vertically. So start with my first one, 5x plus 2. And below the 2, we're going to write the minus 4. Below the 5x, we're going to write 3x. And since there's no x squared term in this first one, so we're going to put a 0 in front of an x squared here. That just means that, well, 0 times x squared is still just 0. And then we have a 2x squared down here. Now we're going to add them. 0x squared plus 2x squared. Well, that's 0, so this is just 2x squared. Remember, when you're adding with exponents, your exponents shouldn't ever change here. So 5x plus 3x makes 8x. And our last one, 2 plus -4 makes -2. All right, so we should get 2x squared plus 8x minus 2. Now we can do this the same way if we group our like terms together. This method I actually prefer than to rewrite it as a vertical, but you can do whichever one you want. Whatever makes more sense to you and works better for you. So we have the 2x squared, it's by itself. So it's just going to go down here, 2x squared. Nothing combines with it. We are going to write our answers in standard form. So since it's an x squared, that's going to go first. All right, 5x and 3x, combine them. 5x plus 3x makes 8x. And our last set of like terms, our numbers, 2 and -4. 2 minus 4 makes -2. So both ways we should get the same answer. Whatever is easier and makes more sense to you. The key, be careful with those negatives. All right, example number 2. Start by distributing this negative. All right, so we're going to leave the first polynomial the same, y squared plus y minus 1. And then a negative times a -2. It's going to be plus. Negative times a negative makes it positive, so 2y squared. Negative times a positive y makes it minus y. And the negative times a plus 1 makes it minus 1. All right, we can write it vertically. Y squared plus 2y squared minus y minus 1. Now add them. y squared plus 2y squared, there's 3y squared. Y minus y is 0. And negative 1 minus 1 makes negative 2. Be careful with the negatives. This is where a lot of people make mistakes, thinking like a negative 1 minus negative 1 makes 0. They're both negative, so it's negative 2. Be really careful with that. So we can write that final as 3y squared minus 2. All right, and we can do this horizontally as well. Y squared plus y minus 1 plus 2y squared minus y minus 1. Y squareds go together. Y squared plus 2y squared is 3y squared. Y minus y is 0. And negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So we get the same thing, 3y squared minus 2. The exponents on my variables did not change. All right, we got 2 examples for your turns. So go ahead, pause the video, try them, and then you can check your answers in a little bit. All right, first thing we're going to do is distribute that negative. 4x squared minus x, and then negative times a negative x squared plus x squared. Negative times a negative 1 is plus 1. Look for like terms and combine them. X squared, 4x squared plus 1 more x squared means 5x squareds. Negative x, there's only one x term with no other exponent, so it's minus x. And plus 1, it's the only term that's a number by itself. So you should get 5x squared minus x plus 1. All right, example 2, distribute that negative. Nothing changes in the first polynomial, so negative z to the third minus 2z minus 1. Distributing that negative, negative times a negative 3 makes plus, or negative z to the third makes plus z to the third. Negative times 2z makes a negative 2z, and negative times a negative 1, or plus 1 makes negative 1. Combine your like terms, z cubed and z cubed. Negative z cubed and a positive z cubed makes 0. Minus 2z minus 2z, be careful, that's minus 4z. And negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So negative 4z minus 2 is our second answer. You do have an assignment that you can go through. There are 3 general steps to do. Distribute that negative. Make sure you do that. Make sure you're careful with that. Then solve by adding either vertically or horizontally the way you did on Monday. And I stress this again, be careful with your negatives. All right, your assignment will be posted as well, so do that and turn it in as soon as you can.